My name is Tabitha, and in this video, I want to talk to you about my first week on optavia, what the results were, which were amazing, spoiler alert, and why I decided to do it. I'm going to try to keep this, but I can't promise you anything, okay? I got my vaccine last Friday, and so I've been doing it a week. I will go ahead and tell you that the first 3 or 4 days were the hardest. The first 3 days were hard. The 4th day wasn't as hard, but I was still hungry because you're hungry. I'm not gonna lie to you, you're hungry. But I could tell by about 4 or 5 that hunger was starting to wean down a little bit. And I even went for like a 2-mile walk yesterday because I just felt so good. Last week before I did this, I tried to go for a walk and I walked about halfway down the road, or not long, far down the road. I was like, man, forget this. I don't feel like it. And came back. But yesterday I was trucking along. It was great. It was beautiful weather. Of course, it's South Alabama, so yesterday it was nice and sunny and like 70 to 80 degrees. Today it's cold and windy, and I like it, but that's Alabama for you. Moving along. Anyway, so today was weigh-in day for me, and I lost 10 pounds my first week. My review of it is that it's simple, it's easy. I am very ADD, been diagnosed. I know a lot of people say they're ADD, but I've been diagnosed with ADD. And so it's hard for me to be unless I'm in a zone. With ADD, you're either hyper-focused or you can't focus. So I've done all kinds of things and just failed at it. I did keto twice for a solid month and a half, and after only losing 5 pounds, like I would lose 5 pounds and then stop, and that would be it. Happened both times. 5 pounds, done. Didn't lose a single pound, and I tried to keep going and keep going and keep going, and people would say, oh, just give it, if you'll have that whoosh effect, whatever, okay, whatever. But keto works for some people, and it don't work for everybody, and that's fine. You got to figure out if it's for you or not. It wasn't for me. I even had a glucose monitor and a ketone monitor, okay? Like, I was on top of it. Did all kind of other stuff. I've done Whole30 3 or 4 times in the last 4 years. One time I did actually do really well and lost like 12 pounds, which was unheard of for me. But of course, over time, I eventually gained that back. So my ADD. I want to talk about the food first, and we'll get into why I decided to do this. The food is pretty good. There are obviously going to be some duds, things I will definitely not order next go round. And but for the most part, I am pleased with the stuff that I've ate so far. My favorite has been the chocolate mint, the chocolate fudge, crisp bars, the brownie, of course, and I accidentally got 2 boxes of the lemon. I've seen where people just don't like them. I do. I was like, oh no, I got 2 boxes of the lemon on accident. Why'd I do that? But I like it. I won't order 2 boxes. I don't like it that much, but I do actually like it. There's just been a few things I just don't really like. I'm not a fan of the silky bars. They're all right, but they're not something I'm necessarily crazy about. Moving on. So the food's good. Meal prep has been really simple, which is beautiful. I'm a weekend on call nurse, and so the grab and go of it is amazing, because when I did Whole30 like a month ago, I was not prepared for the horrific day that I had. I was gone all day long. Those weekends are not few and far between, but they're not very common, and so I was not prepared, so I didn't eat till like 7 or 8 o'clock at night, and I've tried intermittent fasting. Moving along. Doesn't work. Or didn't work. It might help me maintain. I'm getting off course. Anyway, but so now I just make sure I've got 3 or 4 things in my car, and I'm not going to starve, and I'm going to have food, and I'm going to be able to eat every 2 to 3 hours like I'm supposed to. And then when I'm home during the week, Yeah, I get like 4.5 days off, which is great, but then I'm home all day because I'm a homebody. I don't go places. Not really. But the problem with that is, especially when I'm not, on my game, I will snack and I will eat stuff and I'll do really good. I know you relate to this. You'll do really good in the morning, but like after lunch, you'll get tired, or by nighttime, it's out the door. You've ate all kind of things. So, with this, you eat every 2 to 3 hours. So now I've got my food that I can eat every 2 to 3 hours. It's not cheap, but I will tell you, I have been eating special for 10 years now. I've done Whole30 like 4 or 5 times, and I order Whole30 compliant foods when I'm not on Whole30 because I've done paleo. Like I'm all about whole foods. And I saw a woman's video. I'll try to link her below too. She's so relatable. I watched her video after I ordered it. I'm like, yes, I relate to that so much because I know how to eat right. I try to stay away from processed foods. I lost 60 pounds 4 years ago. And I only did that. I did that by eating no processed food, no sugar, no wheat, only real whole foods. I did that without a kitchen, by the way. Our kitchen was torn completely apart, and so I was working out of my sunroom with like a little camper eye and my crock pot, my toaster oven. Didn't count carbs, didn't count calories, didn't really portion control either. Like I just ate what I wanted to. Now, of course, I was gardening. I had this massive garden, so I was working out my garden every day. But I had a ton of fresh vegetables. And I lost weight. I just steadily but regularly, no stalls, 60 pounds gone like that. Melted off me like butter. I had my third sinus surgery. And I started running outside, and I'm asthmatic. I have had some pretty severe bouts in the past, but it's well controlled now. And I was able to run 30 minutes out in Alabama heat at this time. I went from like 210 pounds to like 150. If I remember or if I know how, I don't quite know how to do it yet, but I'm going to figure it out. I'll put a picture here. Right here. Anyway, so I had a third sinus surgery. I wasn't able to smell. This is before, the thing. As a nurse, it's actually worked out really good for me, but I couldn't smell again, and I was like, something's going on. My ENT was like, I'm not sure why you can't smell. We fixed it because I had a sinus surgery in like 2015. This is 2017, and so I went to see somebody else. I was like, I'm tired of not being able to smell. You can't tell me why I can't smell. I mean, I want to smell, and now a lot of people can relate to me and know how bad it sucks when you can't smell. So I've been dealing with this for like 7 years now. Chronic sinus issues. I was gifted. I don't know. Moving on. He's like, oh, I'm going to have to do surgery on you. So I had my third sinus surgery. I had my first one back in high school because I would get these awful, very severe sinus infections that took me out. I had my whole face would swell. It was like a toothache, but on the entire side of one side of my mouth, like red swell. It was terrible. I've not had that issue much again, thankfully. But anyway, so third sinus surgery. Well, since that was my third sinus surgery, anytime my ENT saw something he didn't like, steroids. And I'm talking about I would see him every 3 months, and sometimes it was that visit and then the next visit, or I may have skipped a visit in between, so every 6 months. So that didn't help. I mean, once I had that surgery and I stopped running, because I'm an asthmatic, I decondition quicker than other people, I think. And so once I was able to run again, I wasn't running no 30 minutes within a couple weeks. Like, my ability to keep up was like way diminished. I gained like 40 pounds of that back in a matter of months. Like, I ballooned. It was really bad. And then ever since then, I have fought tooth and nail, and it was so frustrating because I duplicated what I did previously to fix it, and that wasn't working, and it makes sense to me. I'm like, what is going on? What is going on? And so, I had a friend who was saying, talking about all this weight she was losing and how she loved it, yada yada, and I'm watching her, and so I finally messaged her one day, and I'm like, hey girl, all right, what you do? What's the catch? She She said, oh, this is what I'm doing. I'm sure you heard of it. I'm like, no, I've never heard of it. And so I looked into it and I was like, what? The website, I'm be honest with you, it's kind of vague. You really do need somebody to explain it to you. Maybe not. Maybe it was me. Maybe I was just like, I'll look at it. Watched her for a little while. I'll go ahead and tell you, me and her talked back and forth for probably at least a month. And when I finally looked at like the bars and the ingredients, I'll be honest with you, you know, in my mind, I'm like, processed food? No, absolutely not. No. Soy? No, not doing it. Absolutely not. Meanwhile, I'm gaining weight and I'm still eating McDonald's. You know what I'm saying? Like, really, Tabitha? Really? Anyways. You know, sometimes you just get to that point though. We talked back and forth. I thought about it. She added me into a group where I kept seeing all these success stories and I was just like in disbelief. And then I'm like, but you're going to gain all that weight back as soon as you quit. So I don't want to lose it if I'm gaining it all back, you know. So then I started looking at people and watching people and asking questions and finding that they have a transition program, and the people that have done that appropriately have successfully kept the weight off for years. And I'm like, sign me up, because I've been through enough. I think I'm so scared of that weight rebound. I'll do it. And when I'm committed to something, like I'm one of those people, I'm either all in or I'm all out. Like I'm completely on board or I'm just not on board at all. Is that you? Is that just me? Anyway, so I was like, I was going to wait till the end of March to sign up, because actually we will be paying debt off. Our debt, we do Dave Ramsey, side note. And we'll be done with baby test step 2 by the end of March. Yeah. So excited. That means that I'll pay off all of my debt other than the house. We will be debt free other than the house. Okay. So I was like, you know, because it's not cheap. Which I think I've discussed earlier in the video, and I'll touch base on that one more time just to make sure I covered that. And I said, you know what? I'm not waiting till the end of the month. I'm not doing it. Not doing it. I'm buying my box today. And so I did. I think she had a credit. My coach had a credit. And I was like, you know what? I'm jumping. I'm doing it. I'm going to do it, because I'm tired. I'm gaining weight. This is getting old. I remember what it felt like to be small, and it wasn't about my necessarily how I looked, which I looked a lot better. But, you know, I felt so much better. I have small kids, you know. I remember the feeling of, oh my gosh, I can keep up with my kids now. And, well, that's going, I crossed this threshold in weight, and all of a sudden my like, I felt it. I don't know what that 1 or 2 pounds did to me, but I was like, oh my God, like it was worse. I mean, I was already feeling bad, but it just was worse. And I beginning to remember what it was like to be over 200 pounds. And that's where I was at. That's how I felt. And I was like, can't do it. So I signed up, and I'm really glad that I did. I'm like, dang, I hate that I didn't do this earlier. But whatever, we're here now. The cost, it ain't cheap. However, I'm recording what I ate in today video, and I mentioned in there, my food for the week, my food that I have to cook costs about $25. Maybe a little more, maybe a little less. Because of the way you're eating and stuff like that. And the food is good, y'all. I mean, you can make nasty food, but you can also make good food. And I don't know about you, but I like to eat good food. So, the food is good. I mean, like I threw together something yesterday, and it was one of the best things I've ate. I will remake it, which is unheard of for me. I mean, if I find something that I'm remaking, you know it's good. It was like spaghetti squash, a few wedges of the Laughing Cow cheese, and ground turkey, and I seasoned that with like Italian or whatever. Mixed it all together. So good. Anyway, But you know, if you're going out to eat all the time, I know this is a lot, but your money is buying all your food for the day, except for that one meal. If you go out to eat all the time, you can do that on program, but you're going to find that you're not doing it as much because it is somewhat difficult to stay on plan when you go out to eat, because that will be your one meal for the day, and then you're going to be limited. So this is not, you know, you got to remember, this is not like you do the 5-1 until you get to maintenance, and then you'll transition it, and you can start working other things in there. But you know, you're here because you want to lose weight. Moving on, you're eating out all the time, you know, this, that, and the other. You'd be surprised. For me, it was I pretty much cut even, I think. Anyway, so I'm gonna stop blabbing now. This video was a little longer than I thought, but I knew it'd be kind of lengthy. Anyway, I wanted to put my story out there because when I started looking on YouTube for reviews, I didn't find that much, you know. So anyway, if you have any questions, drop them below. I'm not a coach yet. I'm thinking about signing up though because the program is that good. But anyway, I hope you'll have a good day, and like and subscribe and follow me because I plan to put out more videos like this. Y'all have a good day.